coming in off a winning weekend that makes it 7 of 10 days since the All-Star break have put us in the green. Coming off a 1-1 Sunday, we put the winner with the Orioles plus 134. It's a dog money, gets us into the green slightly for the Sunday. John, that Baltimore series called it perfect. They went 3 of 4 in the series. We had all 3 games to get it done, so that's a good little pat in the back there. And we have some nice division battles coming up today already. Rangers in Houston, Cincy, and Brewers. So that kind of theme is going to continue on into this week. But hey, still doing good since the All-Star break and keeping it going through the weekend.
Yeah, we did. We called that series perfectly. All 3 winning games for the Orioles and laid off the game that they lost. So, 7 out of 10 days, winning days now. And we'll just keep this going. Like I said, after the All-Star break, we just get in high gear. That's where we're at right now. The cards get real tough. Division matchups, as you said, Houston, Texas, they'll be playing there, battling for first place, just as Orioles and Tampa Bay were. And then starting tomorrow, we got some AL-NL rivalries. You got the Chicago teams going at it, the New York team going at it, the Bay Area teams going at it. Before San Fran goes there, though, they got a little stopover today at Detroit. So let's get started with that game.
Yep, Giants at Detroit, like you said, it's a 1-game stop before the homestand. They've been struggling. They've now lost 5 straight. Gave the Nats their first sweep since June 2021. That's brutal, hitting just 185 this week. And then this Detroit team, they've been decent since the break. They're coming in here scoring just 3.25 runs per game their last 5. As far as the matchup history, Tigers have actually won 4 of the last 6 meetings, both this season so far. Stripling versus cue ball. Stripling, he's starting to go further and further out in these last couple of starts. Last time out, went 6 innings for Cincinnati. It was a quality start. And then skew ball, his first 2 starts back, 8 shutout innings, then gets wrecked for 7 runs in 4 innings against Kansas City. We'll see if he has any kind of a bounce back here against San Francisco. Really not an ideal spot for the Giants, just a big price here for Detroit, considering skew ball only 3 starts under his belt, hasn't gone out of the 4th inning. And last one, wrecked by the 29th scoring team in baseball.
Yeah, not a great spot, terrible spot for San Fran coming off getting the sweep. They go home to play Oakland, as we said, in that Bay series tomorrow. This is a makeup game, so they get stopped in Detroit. San Fran, ice cold and cannot score 8 runs while losing their last 5 games. Usually not a team I'm going to bet on, but they've made the line so big for Detroit. This should be a pick'em game, if not for the terrible streak that the Giants bats are on. Skubal, a lefty, so Peterson will be out of the lineup as usual. So him being out of the lineup, no big deal. He only bats 125 in the limited appearances versus lefties. And Yastrzemski, they're going to sit him also today, but he's mired in an 0 for 19 slump, so not much with those guys out of the lineup. Tigers, they'll sit Baez and Vierling. Stripling has been said this. He's looked better in each start. He was a spot start, a relief, both. But since he's rejoined the rotation now, 3.86 ERA over 16 and a third innings. And they're stretching him out the last game, 6 innings, a quality start at Cincinnati. This is a game, San Fran's chasing a wild card. This is a game they've got to pick up. After getting swept at Washington, they've got a chance to pick up this game, and then they got to compare with the worst team in baseball. San Fran's got to get their head on right. They got to get a win in Detroit today. I bet Giants plus 122, 1 unit.
Yeah, 1 week from the deadline, they're definitely in that mix of the cup of teams who are just outside the wild card. Got to decide if they're sellers or buyers this week. We'll see. They have a good schedule to make that decision. Then we have Rockies at Nationals, battle of the worst NL road team, worst NL home team. Both teams playing well right now, though. Nats get that first sweep since June 2021, like we just mentioned. And Colorado, they won 4 of 6. They just took a 2 of 3 at Miami. They are hitting just 190 this week, though. Bird versus Corbin. Corbin has to have the pitching edge just slightly here, though. He's last in whip as far as eligible pitchers, but he's been decent. Gave up 3 runs in his 5 1/3 his last time out. 1-1, 5.19 in July. And Bird going to be an opener who's had some struggles as an opener. Last time gave up 3 runs versus the Astros in his start, those two appearances ago. This is a tough game to get a read on here. Both teams playing pretty well. Obviously, the Rockies road struggles, the Nats home struggles, but lean a little bit here to Colorado. They've been playing well. The bullpen game served them well at Miami. We'll see if it does them well here against Corbin. And then you just also might have a little bit of a letdown factor from Washington. They had that MLB record as far as almost over a 2-year stretch without getting a sweep. They finally break that. Maybe a little bit of a letdown from that factor, considering they're a bottom 5 team. Not much else going for them this season. Would be Colorado or nothing for me in this game, John.
Yeah, folks. Matt's a 140 favorite at home. That's tough to look at. It's the only team they could be a favorite over in a bullpen game. Could be that high a number. We bet Corbin his last time out. Had a 3-0 lead at Chicago. He left the game. It was 3-3. And then Cubbies put on a couple of touchdowns, and we wound up losing that one 17-3. But Corbin, as Ben said, he's the 63rd out of 63 pitches eligible in WHIP, 1.54. But somehow he gets it done. 10 quality starts. He leads the Nationals with 10 quality starts. Still can't make him this big a favorite, but I'm not touching Colorado in a bullpen game. Also, C.J. Cron, Chris Bryant, both missed yesterday. They're both questionable today. Just the game I don't want to get involved in.
Then it's Reds at Milwaukee. You guys know the story here with these two. Currently, Milwaukee, half-game lead on the division, owning the matchup, 13 of the last 16 meetings, 8 of 10 this season. Reds, they got hot again. They had the 6-game losing streak. They responded, winning 5 straight. And Brewers, they come off dropping 2 of 3 against Atlanta, but still 7-3 their last 10. Ashcraft versus Rhea. Ashcraft has had the pitching edge. He's been terrific this past month. 4 straight quality starts, 2-1, 1.86. One of those against the Brewers. He faced the Brewers during his cold stretch and gave up 10 runs and was bad against them last year, 0-2, 6.75. So his last 5 starts against the Brewers, 1 quality start. The other 4, he's been roughed up. We'll see if he can have a decent outing here today. And then Rhea, they've won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's been decent, 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 innings last time out. This would be Brewers or nobody. You got to look at that trend right there. They own this matchup. Could definitely be an underplay here. I mean, the last 2 series they've had so far in July, a lot of 1-0 games, 3-0 games, very low scoring. Cincinnati's bats went non-existent. We'll see if Rhea can have that kind of effect. Even the game Ashcraft had the quality start, they still lost that game 1-0. So could definitely be an underlook in this matchup. And would be Brewers with just the home edge and the matchup domination. Got to be looking at them or nothing for me.
Yeah, it's look, these trends, guys, we post them because pay attention. The trend is your friend. Cincinnati is 14-3 in their last 17 games, not against the Milwaukee Brewers. 0-6 in the 1-5 in the 6 games with the Brewers. So the trend, pay attention to the trend. Cincinnati, a little talk about Jonathan India now being on the trade block. Also for Cincy, don't know why they want to be trading people in the thick of the race, but getting back to this particular game, guys, you've got Ashcraft, who's really turned it around. He had a great start to the season, was absolutely getting slaughtered, just getting battered every time out. Last few starts, real nice. I give him the pitching edge. Cincinnati, again, if this was any other team, I would make Cincinnati favorite in this game. I just can't buck that trend. Brewers own them. I'll stay off the game.
As far as the India situation, I don't know if I'd mind them making that trade. It's kind of like Baltimore last year with Mancini. They were very much so in that race, but they just made that extra trade deadline sell and, kind of resupplied for this season, and it paid off big time. And obviously a guy like Joey Votto, you can't trade. He's just too much of a franchise guy. So India, I guess, would be the guy to let go of. We'll see what they end up doing at the deadline. Next, we have Cardinals at Arizona. Cardinals, they were getting hot, and then they ran into the Cubbies. They've now dropped 3 straight. They lost 3 or 4 in that series. And then this Arizona team just ice cold, big disappointment in the month of July. They've lost 4 straight. They're 4-12, their last 16. The D-backs, they won 2 of 3 earlier this year at St. Louis. Cards won all 3 at Arizona last year. It's going to be Waino. We need to see who's pitching for Arizona. Either way, whoever's pitching for Arizona, it could be John or I. We would have the pitching edge. Wainwright so far he's coming off the shoulder injury, so maybe something's going to be better. Prior to that, though, 3 starts, 20 runs in 8 innings. Can't back him anyway, anyhow. Both teams cold, but don't want any part of Wainwright, no matter who's going in for Arizona today.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what the number is. It would be Arizona or nobody. Arizona, although they're in a horrific losing streak from where they were, not only have dropped out of first place, but now actually just tied for that last wild card spot, them and San Fran. It's a game they need to win. St. Louis looks like they packed it in. When I saw the lineup yesterday And I saw no Goldschmidt in there, no Gorman. Contreras did have an injury. I don't care if it was a scheduled day off for Goldschmidt. You got to get out there and stop that losing streak if you want to get. Looks like looks like they're hoisting up the white flag. Looks like it's over. Give me a team that's in the race against a team that's not in it. Especially against Wainwright, like he says, his day's over. He is our Syndergaard. He is our Manoah before his return, which congratulations. Looks like maybe he figured things out a little bit down there. 2 out of 3 are pretty decent starts. But yeah, Arizona or nobody's got to wait for the pitchers. Got to see what the line is.
It's Pirates at San Diego. Pirates coming off losing 2 of 3 at LA. They're 2-2 last 4, but 4-16 their last 20, 4-14 their last 18 on the road. Sorry, I mixed that up. 4-16 the last 20 on the road, 4-14 the last 18 overall. And then the San Diego team, just 5-5 since the break. We'll see what they get here. Priester versus Darvish, massive pitching mismatch. Priester just 1 start in his career, 7 runs, 7 hits, and 5 1/3 versus Cleveland. And Darvish coming off a pair of quality starts. We'll see if he can bounce back here. Had a quality start versus Pitt last year. San Diego, a week away from the deadline. This is a series you have to take advantage of, have to take care of business. So this could be a favorite lay, a run line play here with the Padres today. We'll see if they can live up to the expectations of what they're supposed to be.
Look at getaway day. Look at yesterday. San Diego, you could see they were turning it around. They buried the Tigers the night before. They come with a blank yesterday. One run. This team is them and the Mets are just, they're unexplainable. But I think San Diego even more so. They have the pitching and they have the hitters in the lineup to do some damage. They come with a 0 yesterday on getaway day. They got to make the trip all the way back to the West Coast. This is a game they've just got to beat a struggling Pittsburgh Pirate team who, with a pitcher, Priester, who in his major league debut got destroyed. Darvish looking good his last couple starts. Look like he's returning back to form. Big, huge number. Just can't get behind Pittsburgh in this one. Definitely not on San Diego because they may come with another 0. But I'm not interested in taking the big dog as I usually would take in a spot like this.
Then Royals at Cleveland. Cleveland right now 3 games back of Minnesota, and another little split here where they get Kansas City, chance to make up some ground, and that's what they've done so far this season. They won 5 of 7 meetings this year, 3 of the 4 in Cleveland. And this Kansas City team, they're coming off 5 straight losses. They get the cold Yankees, can't steal one there. They're the worst road team in baseball, 13-37. Yarbrough versus Allen. Yarbrough's been solid in 2 July starts. One of them was a quality start versus the Guardians. And Allen coming off 5 shutout innings versus the Pirates his last time out. Just can't bet Kansas City on the road, not in this spot, not in these division matchups. Cleveland absolutely needs it. And when you're in a race there with Minnesota, have to take care of business at home versus Kansas City. So Guardians are nothing for me in this game. It means too much to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not laying the 190 on this game, but I actually make it a little bit even higher, like a 2-1. My numbers on this game. Yarbrough pitching decent baseball his last couple of starts, and Allen, they had actually sent Allen down prior to his last start. They brought him back up for his last start, and he throws 5 shutout innings. But as Ben said, Casey is just horrific, especially on the road. Want no part of them. Guardians, this is a game they absolutely need. Well, we did throw some stats in there. As far as the total, I myself am not a total guy. These stats just kind of stuck out to me. 5 of 7 meetings this year have gone under at an average of 8 runs per game, exactly 8 runs per game. 3 of 4 of those games in Cleveland at an average of 7.75 runs per game. You've got KC, who's the worst scoring, KC, where am I? Worst scoring road team in baseball, 3.3 runs per game against Cleveland, 29th, scoring 3.65 runs per game at home, and dead last. I mean, by far last in home runs. 2 pitchers that are pitching pretty good, pitching better than their name recognition, and you might look at a little under in this one.
And we have Seattle at Minnesota. The Mariners coming off a tough series there with Toronto. All 3 games decided by 1 run. They won 2 or 3 there. They've won 3 of the last 4, scoring 5 runs per game, just 5-5 since the break. And then you have this Twins team who's really hot since the break. They're 8-2 their last 10 now. Castillo versus Maeda. Castillo allowed 3 runs coming off quality start, but a little bit worse on the road. He's 1-4, 3.51 there. And Maeda's been solid in July, 1-0, 3.31. He had a quality start versus the Mariners last time out. this is just Twins are the hotter team in baseball right now since the All-Star break. We'll see. They split 4 meetings in Seattle last week. They split 4 meetings in Minnesota last year. Not really any domination there, even as a matchup can get. Just have to go Twins, the hotter team at the moment. And I think there's a little bit of a letdown there from Seattle, stealing a couple of one-run games there from Toronto. So this would be Twins or nothing for me on this game, John.
Tough one. The line is too close. Minus a dime right now. Let me just see. There's a little bit more. Yeah, minus 08, minus 07 right now on Minnesota. If I could have caught Minnesota as a home dog against Castillo, the big name, I would have been taken. Got Buxton is on paternity leave. He leads the Twins in home runs this year. Tough game. Castillo not as good on the road. Medea, he's looked better since he returned. Remember he got hit with the ball earlier in the year. This one's a toss-up. I got nothing on this game. We'll look for lineups or a line move later on. But right now, I think the price is pretty much the right line.
Then we have Rangers at Houston, another division battle here. Texas, they lose 2 of 3 against LA. They win the one yesterday. They're still 7-2 since the break. And then the Astros, they've now won 4 of 5. They take 2 of 3 against Oakland. This is a weird, interesting matchup history. Obviously, Rangers' new team this year, so can't look too much on last year. Astros have won 4 of 7 meetings this year. Texas took 2 of 3 back in April when they were playing terrific. So we'll see if there's any carryover from that. Gray versus Belak. Gray hit by a comebacker his last time out, starting to look good. He had 4.1 shutout innings. Did give up 8 hits, though, against Tampa in those 4.1 innings. So maybe a little bit dancing through raindrops. Prior to that was roughed up a little bit, 7 runs in 12 innings. We'll see what he brings here. And Belak, 2-1, 1.08 so far in 3 July outings. Pitching edge will still go slightly to Gray, but you add in the coming off the comebacker, he's still getting dancing through raindrops. Don't think there's too drastic of a pitching edge there. This would be Houston or nobody for me. We talked about it before with the Astros coming into this series, having a really easy schedule leading up to it with Colorado and Oakland. Coming out of this, they get a really tough schedule. They get Rays, Yankees, and Baltimore, 3 AL East teams, and then they also get Cleveland mixed in there. So they had a chance to kind of catch up some ground, didn't do as well as they should have. Can't drop that game at Oakland. We'll see what they do here. Tough series coming up. I lean Houston in this first game, John.
Yeah, well, this has been Houston's division. They trail by 3 games. This is about injuries now. Houston waiting to see if they're going to get Altuve and Alvarez back for this series, or maybe even this game will be on top of that. They've been doing a rehab assignment. Texas, they put Seager on the IL Saturday, and Alvarez and Garcia misses yesterday. Garcia leading the team home runs and RBIs. So Texas, 2 best bats possibly out tonight. Seager definitely out. And who will Houston be getting their bats back? Pitching edge, as Ben said, you look at the numbers right away and you think Gray, man, he's just been unlucky. So was pitching, dominating, fantastic, develops a blister, misses a turn, comes back, gets beat up pretty good. He's pitching pretty good. His last time out, pretty good because he's allowed a bunch of hits, but he's getting through the innings and he gets hit with the comebacker. But you're just pitching. He had bad luck right there. That might be carrying over to this game. Does he do well against the Astros? No. Gave up 6 runs across 8 innings in a pair of losses last year. Houston or nobody. We'll look for the lineups and what the line is once we know who's playing.
Then we have Orioles at Philly. Baltimore now up 2 in the East. They take 3 of 4 at Tampa Bay. They're red hot. Can't really go against this Orioles team right now. 12-3 their last 15 overall. AL best, 31-18 on the road. And this Philly team, they get a win yesterday in extras at Cleveland that snaps the 4-game losing streak. Still just hitting 204 this week. Creamer versus Sanchez. Sanchez has been solid, 2.81 ERA in 3 July outings. Last time out, a 1 earned run, gave up 3 though in 5 innings versus the Brewers. And Creamer was roughed up by the Dodgers. 5 runs, 4 walks. That's concerning. Prior to that, had a pair of quality starts. This is getting dog money out. At the overnight line, would have definitely been on Baltimore here. Would have wanted to go a bit further back up. You do have the letdown factor there for the O's. I was, before the line came out, looking to go against Baltimore in that, but they just keep disrespecting this team here. For a team who's best record in the AL, best road record in the AL, time and time again, you're getting plus money with them in situations where they're not out mismatching the pitching. And this is another one of those situations. So this is O's or nothing for me.
Look, if you guys have been following me, you know I've been calling the Orioles since early last year. This team that was up on an uprise, and they've finally done it. They're in first place for this late in the season for I don't know how long. Letdown is the word, and that's why the number is what it is. There's no way that I could make Philly this much of a favorite. But look, first of all, they don't win in Tampa. They went there and took 3 or 4, and now 2 games in first place. This has letdown written all over. Creamer got hit pretty hard his last time out. Sanchez has been decent. I want to bet Philly. I just can't because they made them the favorite. This should have been no more than a pick'em game. The letdown spot's too great. I'll just let this one go by unless there's a big change in the line or the lineups.
Then we have Blue Jays at Dodgers to wrap up the card. This Toronto team, they've now dropped 4 of 6. The Dodgers, they lose that last game at Texas there at the back end of the trip, but 6-3 since the All-Star break. They took 2 of 3 in each of their 3 series there. Dodgers team, best NL record at home, 29-16. Got to see what's going on with Martinez. He's questionable after missing yesterday. And we have Berrios versus Grove. Grove actually been a little bit solid. They've won 5 of his last 6 starts. Last time out, 1 run in 5 innings versus that juggernaut Baltimore team. Been a little bit better at home. And in Berrios, 3 July starts, 2 of them quality starts, 3 runs in 18 2/3. He's been terrific. Pitching edge definitely has to go to Berrios here. Dodgers, though, just since the break, been playing well. They got hot before the break. They take care of business at home. Giants slumping, Arizona slumping. They're taking care of business against some of the better teams in baseball. Baltimore and Texas on the road. Tough schedules. Now you come home. Got to keep taking care of business here. This would be a slight lean here to the Dodgers for me, even as with the pitching edge there to Berrios. Just think there's too low of a price here for this Dodgers team at home the way they've been playing.
Yeah, they're scorching the ball. We had Texas circled yesterday. If Garcia was in, we actually talked about it. If you follow us on Instagram, Garcia wound up being out. We didn't pull the trigger. Late scratch was J.D. Martinez. We knew Will Smith was out. Wish we would have got that J.D. Martinez info before the game started. That's how late of a scratch he was. He'll be questionable again today. Smith will be back in. That was just his regular day off Sunday as a catcher. Berrios' big pitching advantage. I've got to get a bigger number than this. Toronto not playing great right now. Dodgers just getting it done. They've opened up a 4-game lead, and Dodgers are back to where we knew they were going to be to start the season. Went through some rough times, but they're back to it. If they actually would have won yesterday in a game that was tailor-made for them, Texas, no Seager, no Garcia, they jump out to a 4-0 lead. If they win that game, they're on their pace, that 96-game pace that we said that they would win. They won 111 last year. We figured a 15-game drop-off at 96. So right now, with that loss, they're about 94. So just under that pace. Watch them pick it up on this homestand. They should get right around that pace again. 96, that was our prediction for them this year. Again, would take Toronto. Got to get a bigger number. Got to see if J.D. Martinez is in the game, and we'll find that out later on tonight.
Yes, we will. It's a small 10-game Monday card. 1 bet out there so far. You guys members know. If you guys want to check that out, go to the How to Beat the Bookie website or download the app. You guys get all this information. 7 of 10 days since the All-Star break have put us in the green. I'm looking to keep that going. And as you guys know, still some pitchers haven't been announced yet. It's a getaway day. Lineups got to be careful for. All that information will be updated for our members throughout the day. John, pretty decent weekend. Not big winning days, but winning days nonetheless. And that's what we're looking for. Any day in the green's a good day. And hopefully we can keep that going on into this week.
Yeah, we went Saturday and Sunday. Between those 2 days, 3 and 3, 50%. But when I'm hitting 50%, it's like nobody else hitting 50%. You hit 50% of favorites, you're a loser. 50% of those. I tell you all the time, I'll sign a contract right now. Give me 50%. We'll just grind away for the rest of the baseball season. And that's what we do after the All-Star break, guys. It's dog days of summer. Again, a lot of guys say, hey, just watch John's podcast. You don't have to pay for to be a member. I'm not trying to sell you guys. So many decisions are made after our podcast is done. Remember, we shoot this at 11. Ben finally gets it up about 1 o'clock. There's a game, the Arizona game. We still don't even know who the pitcher is. What I can tell you right now, it is 11:42 just before we go. And we took the Giants at plus 122. They're actually hitting it as we speak. That game is now down to 108, 105 at Sports 411 and Circa. So, again, the right side, you want to be a member so you get notified as soon as we make the bet. and you this way that 14 cents that you're missing out on, that pays for the subscription in one shot. We're gonna get hot, and we're gonna be on full tilt for the rest of the baseball season. I suggest you become a member.
Absolutely. You guys know where to go for that. Keep tuning into these podcasts because these are going to be uploaded by 1 o'clock Eastern, usually by 12:30, Monday through Friday. You guys can find that on YouTube, Spotify. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money, John.
Let's make some money.